I was approached by John Heffernan from Jupiter Artland, who's involved with coordinating projects and inviting artists to be part of the summer programme. It's a performance commission. So when I first went to look around Jupiter Artland, I was very much thinking, how could I perform in this space? What would it be? I just felt like as I sort of walked around and saw all the works, I just sort of kept thinking of the scale of them and like how they had been built up there, like Cornelia Parker's garden, for instance. I sort of imagined that people would have to be sort of carrying it through this sort of forest area before it got put against a tree. So I thought about what something would look like to be sort of built or raised in public, and what that means to see something being built up. I sort of grew up in a village that had like a big argument over like the building of a local school. So went along to all these sort of planning meetings and found it really exciting. Living in Glasgow, which I would say is like the first urban industrial city that I've lived in, and sort of travelling to work each day, usually on my bike, and sort of having to negotiate these sort of strange sort of streets and bollards, and it just really makes you sort of question how these places are sort of built up. The reason it's called raising is I was thinking about the Amish tradition of barn raising, which happens over a weekend. And then I started looking into UK laws, some ancient UK law from Dartmoor that says that if you can raise a cottage within a day and put a fire in it, then you can claim the land as your own. So I really like this idea of sort of a community coming together and building something. My initial idea was to go for a sort of cruciform shape, so similar to maybe a barn style or sort of Tudor building. So that's a design that I've created of like almost like a default position of all the panels. So at each build, the participants will actually create their own model and then translate that into the structure they actually build. So there's sort of some sort of political things to do with like land claiming rights, which, you know, maybe is a bit provocative towards Jupiter Artland because it is a sort of privately owned sort of estate. So that's quite an interesting conversation to have with, you know, the owners, and I think something they're sort of like happy to be sort of, you know, there's a bit of challenging there. Having the opportunity to scale things up has been great for me, and it's been really nice for that to be facilitated through this. The actual size of the platform which the house like structure will get built on is the same footprint as an average UK new build. When you say you're doing a work which is like mimicking building a house, everyone seems to have a story or an angle. So I'm really interested in seeing those conversations, and also maybe seeing like arguments play out, like of how people think the best place would be to sort of format this sort of house-like structure. I don't want to guide them sort of too much, so I really like the idea of artwork being made as under a sort of collective authorship, and I don't know, sort of this real sort of human endeavour of like pulling together and seeing what can happen at the end. Throughout the course of the exhibition, we'll have lots of different types of participants. It like really elevates the project and sort of shows a sense of community which would have happened in real life. I think actually it's been really good to test it in the wettest, windiest circumstances. I'm pretty much in awe of people that you see in all weathers, especially in Scotland, like out doing their work. So I sort of think that we're reflecting that as well. So I think it's good. I thought it was going to be this sort of beautiful, sleek, black object. There's something for all shapes and sizes and abilities to do, so hopefully we'll get some interesting builds.